thought I'd clue you in on that.
I like being right. I don't like that I'm right all the time, but I like being right.
All right, good morning, folks. I'm showing 9 o'clock, so that's time for our workshop. Welcome to today's school board workshop. We'll call it into session. 2.1, at this time, there are no changes to the agenda. That takes us to section 3, recognitions. 3.1, recognition of the 24-25 Okaloosa School District Outstanding School Volunteer, presented by Mr. Chambers.
I would just like to comment that
Yes, sir.
That the person that's getting this recognition tonight is such an outstanding member of the Crestview community, so it's really exciting to see this person get recognized.
And you said that without trying to steal any thunder from the superintendent. Okay, all right. All right, so section 4, administrative personnel appointments. 4.1, appointment of Director 1, Secondary Education, Curriculum and Instruction, recommended by the superintendent. 4.2, appointment of Director, Elementary Education, Curriculum and Instruction, recommended by the superintendent. 4.3, appointment of Specialist, Career and Technical Education, recommended by the superintendent. And then 4.4, appointment of Assistant Principal 2, 12-month or prior middle school, recommended by Superintendent Chambers. That takes us through that and brings us to section 5, public comment for agenda items. Section 6, committee and staff reports, none today. And then section 7, consent agenda. As always, 7.1 is the approval. 7.2 is the approval of the minutes of the special meeting of May 27th, 2025, minutes of the student disciplinary hearing of May 27th, 2025, minutes of the workshop meeting of May 27th, 2025, and minutes of the regular meeting of May 27th, 2025, all recommended by the superintendent. 7.3, appropriation of District 2 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Mary Esther Elementary School for classroom flooring in the amount of $10,673.25, presented by Mr. Destin and recommended by the superintendent. 7.4, appropriation of District 2 School Board Member Capital Outlay Funds to Destin Middle School for classroom flooring in the amount of $6,552, presented by Mr. Destin and recommended by the superintendent. 7.5, invoices to be approved for payment, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.6, school donations, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just
Yes,
like
sir.
to point out that we're at $493,548.51.
Getting close?
Getting close.
Yeah, awesome. All right, 7.7, Master Services Agreement and Letters of Engagement for External Auditing Services between the School Board of Okaloosa County and Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, CPAs and Advisors, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.8, request to write off internal funds NSF checks as uncollectible, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.9, authorization to appropriate federal impact aid funds and make a payment in the amount of $8,330.50 to charter schools, presented by Ms. Perry and recommended by the superintendent. 7.10, tag on bid purchase over $50,000 to Forever Lawn Emerald Coast, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.11, RFQ 25-23, Curriculum Associates of Elevation, presented by Vince Wyndham, Program Director Purchasing and recommended by the superintendent. 7.12, renewal of ITB 21-06 Internet Services, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent.
I have a question on that,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
On the renewal documents, it had primary and then secondary. I don't understand that.
I see Mr. Mitchell approaching. That's his area.
We have two incoming lines, primary and secondary.
Okay, that was pretty basic. You had two highlighted areas on is that what, I mean, was there any change to this bid, or is it just, it's a continual? I didn't know what the highlighted areas meant.
No, it's just a renewal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you, Mr. Heinley. All right, so that takes us to 7.13, renewal of ITB 21-05 telecommunication services for wide area network, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent.
Well, I have another question on that
Okay.
one there.
Yes, sir.
Scrutinized company certification. I've never seen that in anything that we've ever done. Is that something that's standard or particular companies? It's in the, if you look in some of the attachments here, it goes on saying that, hey, these companies don't do business with Israel and all this kind of stuff.
That's a state requirement.
It's a state requirement?
Yes, sure is.
But I've never seen it before. I mean,
It's been around for a few years.
okay. All right, interesting. It does call for the Florida state statutes on that, so. It goes in depth if you all get some of different countries.
Interesting. Anything further? All right. 7.14, renewal of ITB 22-20 carpet tile LVT and VCT-DW, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.15, tag on bid BC 2025-014 ice machines, continuing supply, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I see that company's from Pensacola. Is that because we're tagging on something, or did we have any local companies that have tried to bid on that?
We're actually tagging on to Leon County
Okay.
contract on this.
And so when you tag on, you have to use what the
Whoever we
company.
awarded, yes, sir.
Okay, so Leon's going to travel all the way over here to take care of our ice machines.
No, sir. The company's actually out of Pensacola.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you tagged on there, but the company's
Tagged on
Pensacola.
Leon's contract, right.
I got you.
So, Mr. Wyndham, real quick, I think for Mr. Heinley, if it's okay, Mr. Heinley, explain tag on. What does tag on mean? Because I asked this question
Well,
when I
another
was
word
on.
for that's piggyback.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, they've awarded a contract, we're tagging on piggybacking that contract.
Got it.
And Mr. Wyndham,
So when those contracts are created, like when this was first created by Leon, state law allows us to tag on and get the price of whatever the contract
exact
was.
price. Yes, sir.
And so very often, that price, because it's so low, is the best opportunity for us. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. In a lot of cases.
Got
But
it.
using the exact vendors on that tag.
Exact
on.
terms,
Have to.
conditions, price, everything.
got it.
Yes, sir.
And that keeps us from having to bid it out,
It does.
yeah,
Right.
And we get a good price.
And we do.
because they've already gone through
And
the
they can
process.
actually give us a price lower than the contract.
Yeah.
Just not higher.
Right.
No, and I appreciate all that. I'm just sensitive. I try to, I
Yep.
want us to get local companies as
Sure.
much as possible.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Sure.
Wyndham. All right, 7.16, here's another one. Tag on bid RFP 241904, specialized therapy services, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent.
All right, Mr. Chairman, another question.
Okay,
I'm busy with making you busy today.
that's good.
How many contract employees does this $1.6 million give us? Does anybody know? I mean, I see all the service, the people on this thing.
How many hands are we getting? That's the question.
That's right.
There are several companies on here. Basically, this is Escambia County's amount.
Right.
So basically, that's based on their requirements.
Okay.
Escambia.
Okay, so looking at this attachment, you have all those supplier names,
Yes, sir.
okay? And those they're basically contract employees that are coming in there and helping out.
Or the companies. Or
The companies
Yes,
are.
sir.
Ms. Ard,
What does that represent in the number of people?
How many people? Yeah.
Ms. Ard is coming
Let's see if Ms.
forward.
Ard can help with that.
Hi, Ms. Ard.
Good morning.
So we have a deficit of available speech and language pathologists, OTs, PTs in our area. And so what we do, we hire as many as we can as employees as our district, but the need is greater than the supply we have. So we do work with some of these contract companies to contract an SLP that comes and works in our school. We evaluate them. They do all the same things that the employees of the district do, but we just don't have enough people to fill our roles. So we have to hire out through some of these companies. And we do tag on to Escambia. They've done all the back work of the companies, just depending on if they have an available therapist. We might have one from Orange. We might have one from here. We just look at the candidates they have, and that's where we pull from.
So my query is, what's the deficit that this district, why do we have to go to outsource that? How many people are we looking for that if we could fill them in-house, how many
Sure.
would that be?
We did try to turn in one of our OTs. It was a contract. We actually found an employee to hire instead of using a contract. Some of those positions, they can make more in the private sector than the school system. So that's why we have to go to that. Judy Peacock works very hard trying to find candidates, and we try to hire. A lot of those therapists now want to work virtually also, and they don't want to be in our schools, and we would prefer them face-to-face with the students. So that's where we get those contractors, companies to help fill our voids.
I totally understand all that, but my question is, how many people do we need
I think last
if
year,
we had to hire them right now?
I think last year, most of the time, it was about 7 of our SLPs were contract. We had 2 OTs, but we actually are getting rid of one of the contract because we've been able to find one to hire. Last year, we had all of our PTs were actually our people.
Okay.
So
right.
we do our best to fill them, but then as the need arises.
I know the
yeah.
discrepancy in the private and thing is huge. So,
Sure.
But if we could find 7 of them, that would fill our need.
We try. We're interviewing right now.
Okay.
And Mr. Heinley, you will see this will be an agenda item next year, as well as the next year after that. You know, filling these positions that are difficult to fill due to of what they can make in the private sector. It's challenging, but Mrs. Arden, her group has also done a good job where we do have a stipend that's available for them as well.
Okay.
So if they have and help me out, Ms. Hart, if they have a master's degree.
Yes, certain credentials, certifications, they have stipends that can range up to like the $8,000 range, depending on what their position is. And then we also do help assist with some of their outside certification that they have to keep to stay certified. We'll pay for some of those fees.
In this area, we have some competing school districts that are paying higher in this field as well?
In different areas, yes. We it's like one year we'll give the stipend and we kind of get ahead, and then the next year the neighboring district adds a little more than we do.
Yep, battle, supply and demand.
SLPs, Florida State has a wonderful SLP program. They only graduated, I think, 5 people last year. It's just not a field that's, there's not a surplus of candidates.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Ard. Thank you, Mr. Wyndham. Thank you, Mr. Heinley.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Can I invite Mr. Wyndham back? Mr. Wyndham, I've got an ice machine question. If you'll indulge, can I jump back one item? Mr. Wyndham, can you explain sort of the situation? I know that the tag-on bid for the ice machine services, it said in the packet it's on an as-needed basis. Can you, I'm imagining we have several hundred ice machines in the district. Is this just for maintenance and repair? Or is it?
It's purchase of ice machines.
So this is just for purchase. This isn't maintenance repair. We're going to buy the ice
purchase.
machines from this company out of Pensacola.
Yes, sir.
Are they going to offer ongoing maintenance of those machines as well?
Any warranty work, they would.
They would?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you happen to know what type of machines they are?
Isomatic and. Yeah, mainly.
Is that what we have basically throughout the district right now?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys know how long we've been getting a lifespan on? And I guess I'm digging far too into the weeds. I have too much experience with ice machines in the restaurant business for the last 20 years. Have we a uniform, like we only have isomatics throughout the whole district?
No, sir. We use Isomatic, Bushasaki. I think there's one other type, but I can't remember the
Do we know if these guys will also do work on Hoshizaki's? I'm sorry. Yeah. Mr. Wyndham, I appreciate you.
Sure, no problem.
Good morning. Mr. Destin, right now, if one of our ice machines goes down and it's not in warranty, sometimes our maintenance guys can fix them. Some of our HVAC guys have the knowledge and the experience to fix our ice machines, which is wonderful. If not, we have been using a company called ProTech. They do a lot of the ice machine repair work in our cafeterias.
Good enough. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. All right. Okay, we got 7.16, so now we're on 7.17. Tag on bid purchase over $50,000 to Lancaster Johnson and Associates, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, question on that.
Yes,
Where's the warehouse? There's a warehouse quote in here.
It's on the food service side of this building.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
All right. 7.18, service agreement number 26-02, Christopher Mills, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.19, service agreement 26-03, Kenneth Rhodes, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.20, service agreement number 26-04, Brooke Zagaruga, presented by Mr. Wyndham and recommended by the superintendent. 7.21, service agreement number 2605, Randall Nelson, recommended by Mr. Wyndham. And recommended by the superintendent. 7.22, memorandum of understanding between the Department of Defense and the Okaloosa County School Board, presented by Ms. Duran and recommended by the superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, could I get a breakdown on the Skill Bridge program?
All right, I see Dr. Hale approaching.
Good morning. The Skill Bridge program is one of our programs that we renew each year. We're very proud of it. It's a no-cost option for the district that provides a late in their career transition plan for military that want to transition to another vocation. Skill Bridge participates with all kinds of different industry. As educators, we like for them to get in here too. So basically what we do is we provide an internship for people transitioning out of the military that want to be teachers, and so they get to spend some time with some mentor teachers, and they get to learn the trade. It's a good partnership right here that we have with Eglin and Hurlburt.
You got me at no cost.
Thank you, Dr. Hale. All right, 7.23, Title I, Part A, Title II, Part A, Title III, Part A, Title IV, Part A, and Title I, Part D, Subpart 2. Florida Department of Education project application for 2526 by Ms. Dale and recommended by the superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, another question.
Okay.
I did my homework this week. Can you explain the roll forward? Is that unused money?
I think I'm the representative today. Ms. Dale texted me this morning. So roll forward is money that was not spent last year that we will basically roll forward.
Perfect.
All right.
And just for I'll just say for the board's pleasure, I know you know, oftentimes throughout the year there's resyncs that are there, so additional dollars are then put into some of these federal accounts, and therefore you'll also have roll forward that'll occur, based on that as well.
7.24, requesting approval to add an amendment appendix to the 2526 dual enrollment articulation agreement between Northwest Florida State College and Okaloosa County School District, presented by Ms. Barron and recommended by the superintendent. 7.25, LEAP, L-E-A-P, Health Services Agreement between the school board and LEAP Health to provide precision care to employees by Ms. Sarah Cato, Risk Management, and recommended by the superintendent. 7.26, approval of the selection committee for RFP 25-02 real estate broker sales services, presented by Dr. Bill Smith and recommended by the superintendent. 7.27, surplus and dispose of 4 portable buildings, school board owned tangible property, and transfer ownership to Destin High School in accordance with Florida statutes, presented by Mr. Bobby McElroy, Program Director, and recommended by the Superintendent. 7.28, surplus salvage and dispose of 9 portable buildings, school board-owned tangible property in accordance with Florida statutes, presented by Mr. Bobby McElroy and recommended by the Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on 27 and 28.
Okay.
So Destin wanted 4 of them, and they picked out which ones they wanted,
Yes, sir.
and then we take it to them, and then it is theirs.
We do not. They pay for the removal.
Oh, they come and get it,
They will.
and then it's theirs.
Yes.
No more liability
It's a
to us.
transfer to their property and inventory, and it is off of ours.
All right. That's it. I do want to say on the 9 they were getting, I think there was 1 or 2 of them older than me. 1961.
They're old.
Yep.
And so when these 9 out, we're slowly but surely getting our supply of portables out of here, right?
Yes, ma'am. So, as you recall, a few years ago, we were around the 180 mark, and now we're under the 150. So we're reducing them as we can.
Up.
Yes, ma'am.
I almost feel like we need to have a ceremony like we do for ribbon cuttings, except the opposite, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Launching them, huh? Okay. Okay, so that now takes us to Section 8, Superintendent's Human Resources Recommendations. 8.1 and 8.2 are information only. 8.3, Instructional and Education Support Personnel Recommendations for the 25-26 school year by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.4, Employment Separations presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.5, Personnel Recommendations presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.6, Employee Transfers presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 8.7, Employee Suspension presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. And then 8.8, Reinstatement reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. At this time, there are no items on the discussion agenda. On Section 10, Construction Program Owners Representatives Business. Mr. Heinley, sir.
We have our meeting today, and I will report tonight.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Attorney, your business.
No report this morning.
Thank you, sir. Superintendent, welcome back, and your business, sir.
Thank you, Dr. White, School Board. I do want to start off by just giving a brief update about the budget. And I think many of you may know, but if you do not know, that both the House and the Senate adopted a resolution to extend the session until Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. But they have to have the agreement 3 days prior, so you have the 3-day cooling off period. So that's towards the end of this week / this weekend. So we should have more information on that. We've talked, I think, in great detail in individual meetings as well as at board meetings, the process that we've gone through as it pertains to this budget. This is I won't necessarily say unprecedented year, but it's probably close to that in terms of budgets and the time frame in which we will receive those budgets, knowing all that has to happen in May, in June, and July to be prepared for the upcoming school year. But just very proud of Ms. Perry and her staff, our senior staff, in terms of the work that we've done to get to where we are. But we hope to have that budget here shortly, and then we'll compare it with what we've already done with anticipation for the budget. But we will be prepared, and we will have a balanced budget.
Superintendent, I just would ask a question about that, if you might entertain this question. Has this budget, and I guess call it what it is, delay, has this impacted our schools and their ability to order materials in preparation for next year?
So I would say due to the work of Ms. Perry and her department, in essence, it has not. There's certain, we know, for example, as it pertains to textbooks, in essence, the amount of money that we're going to get, and as this board knows,
it's never enough.
It's never enough.
Right.
So that does create some challenges. I'll just give you just an off the top of the head, but it's pretty close. We receive approximately about $2 million for textbooks. A textbook adoption costs about $5 million.
Right.
So you just think about that.
Always had to take it out of the school budget.
Yes, sir. So Mrs. Perry and her group, they've already projected out a number of years from now. But then as it pertains to school budgets, there will be money that they have to be prepared for supplies because we can't wait. We have to be able to order those things, as you know. It's a large amount of supplies and resources that come in over the course of the summer. But it does create challenges in terms of when you look at a budget that school districts have, it definitely creates a challenge.
Right. And if I remember, I think there's a notable state senator that said this is the first time that he could even remember that this has happened, that the legislature didn't meet their, I think it's a prescribed duty to have a budget in place.
The constitutional obligation.
Yeah, constitutional obligation.
I used the word unprecedented, but I didn't want to necessarily constitute that because maybe this happened before, but not to my memory.
Me neither. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Yes, sir. I do want to say, just as you know, hurricane season will be starting, and Mr. Dean, Mr. Mers, Ms. Card, Mr. Mitchell, and that group, they have participated in the hurricane simulation exercise. But I say all that to say that's one piece of it. And then there's so many layers in terms of our group has put together a hurricane preparedness or just weather disaster preparedness of what we do in those situations, the communication trees and all the different decision making and how we make decisions when it pertains to this. So I'm just, I say all that to say that I'm proud of the work that they've done. So when these things do happen, we're prepared to communicate effectively. Do want to recognize Senior Master Sergeant Amber Burke. She was named the Outstanding Instructor of the Year, and that's the overall with the Air Force Outstanding Instructor of the Year. So this is a national honor over at Fort Walton Beach High School. So just that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. So just want to give Senior Master Sergeant Burke just a congratulations again. Do want to say that we've talked about our annual report that we've put out, and it received another award at a national level. So just appreciate that. And the neat thing about that, it's not about receiving an award, it's about sharing the information that we do as a school district. So just very much appreciate that. And I would be remiss if I did not say once again, BitWizards, the work that they've done to partner with us to put all that together. We've had a number of state winners with our students. This has been a feverish ending to a school year. And we had a National Civic Speed State Champion. And if you remember, especially the Fort Walton Beach Chamber put an effort together to have Okaloosa schools participate in this. And now we have a state winner. So just want to again congratulate Noah Finkler from Destin Middle School, an 8th grader. He also received a nice little $1,000 cash prize. So that's always amazing for an 8th grader. And then we had a 2-time champion with the national debate winner with Incubate. And you guys will remember William Kiker. He's been before this board several times. He always comes with a whole lot of energy, but just an amazing young man. And that whole group over at Fort Walton, as well as our schools, they do a great job with debate. But Fort Walton is strongly energized there. And that's not to discount our other schools that do a great job, but they've been before this board several times. So just want to recognize that young man again. I do want to say this board allowed us to go to Read 180 about a little over a year ago, and that's a reading program for students who need additional help. And we had 2 teachers receive a national award, Miss Donna Bourne and Miss Tracy Lott. And then we had a student, John Matthew Gamayo, who also received a national award. And the 2 teachers, based on their mentorship of students and especially the student achievement, those academic gains, and then the student with the academic gains as well. And I will say Read 180 has done a great job of helping students move forward and receive learning gains. So just very proud of those teachers. In case you receive any questions, The summer food service program is in effect, and it services students 18 years of age or younger, and they have the ability to get free breakfast, free lunch, but those are at specified locations throughout the school district. And then lastly, I want to do like we do every year, invite you all, if you would like to participate. We have our Leadership Summit coming on June 26th. It'll start about 7:30-ish, actually 7:15-ish for breakfast, but we will start promptly within the 8 o'clock time frame. So just want to invite you if you'd like to come. It's, I'd like to say it'll be a great event, and there'll be a whole lot of food. So, and this is another event that is also made possible by the support of our business leaders in this community that provide a lot for us to be able to do this, and then the Beachside Community Church for the venue. So just want to say thank you. And it is nice to be back. And that's all I have, Dr. White.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All right, colleagues, that brings us now to section 13, board members' announcements. And as usual, Mr. Heinley, I'll start on your end, sir.
Okay. First, I want to give kudos to the SOUP and to Ms. Perry for your work on the budget. To sit down with all of us individually. Y'all have done some great work in there and some good options just in case. I mean, it's tough to have a budget, you have to have so many variables, and no thanks to our legislators for not having it. They're making it hard work for you guys, but you guys have done a great work, so I appreciate that. I attended a nice ceremony for the retirement for people leaving the district between our last meeting and now, and a lot of people have been there a long time. In fact, one person, Jay McGinnis, 40 years. 40 years he was with the district. That's incredible. That's all I have except 2 items. Today is the 9th. So who was the 9th President of the United States?
Harrison.
Which Harrison?
William Henry Harrison.
Okay. By the way, there's the only grandfather and grandson president, number 9 and number 23. Oh. But to satisfy Mr. Parker's claim that we don't go past 31, we'll take 9 plus 31 is 40. Who's the 40th president? Who was the 40th president of the United States? Reagan. Very nice. That's all I have.
So real quick, Mr. Heinley, William Henry Harrison, was it his grandson that just passed away recently? Wasn't he the one that had the living grandson still? And
Was he a grandson?
No, I think it was a Tyler.
Was it Tyler?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
Tyler, or a great grandson or grandson.
So the grandson of one of I think it was the 10th president then. That
That's
would be
right,
Tyler.
yeah.
So he just passed away last week at like 98. So the grandson. So that's like
That's crazy.
170 years.
Yeah.
How can you touch that far back?
Yeah.
A lot of historical antiquarianism going on.
Very.
I'm so glad we got Google.
I'm going to have to check on that word
that what
there,
you call
Mr.
it?
Yeah,
Chairman.
it's antiquarianism. That's the term.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Vanchek.
Yes. So I want to also say what a great retirement ceremony. It wasn't a ceremony, but event. I appreciate the folks over in HR. It was really nice and very well attended. I thought that was good. And I know they loved the prizes, and it was fun. It was very, very nice, and appreciate that. And so while we're talking about things like that, we're just shy of a year out from our country turning 250. And so I know that Representative Pat Maney is heading up our county's committee for that, so looking towards that. But this Thursday is Women Veterans Day, June 12th, and we have the only park or representation of women veterans in the country outside of Washington, D.C. is here on Okaloosa Island, and that's thanks to Commissioner Carolyn Ketchel and her initiative that goes back to 2021. But on Thursday, they're going to be adding some new statues and some benches and other things, and that's an event that's open to the public starting at 7:30, and then they start inside for a little while, and then we go outside to a ceremony out there, and they start early to beat the heat having to stand outside with that, but it is open to the public, and it's a great event that we do. And so beyond that, just want to say that despite what the legislature does, we're going to do our job, and I appreciate what Ms. Perry and the district staff have done to keep things going even though things are challenging right now. That's it.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bryant.
Thank you, Dr. White. I would just like to take this moment to thank the board, my fellow colleagues, the superintendent, Mr. McInnes, everybody within the school district for your support for me as I represented our district and our state with the Florida School Boards Association, being the president. But this week, my term will be coming to an end. And I think for any of us that have served in any capacity as a president, you always know that that past president position is very coveted and you look forward to that. But I will just say that I am so appreciative of all the support that I've received from everybody locally and across the state. It has been a true honor to serve as the president of the Florida School Boards Association, and look forward to another great year. Angie Gallo, who is a school board member in Orange County, will be taking over on Friday. So officially my last day will be June 30th, and but we always do it ceremonially, so that way the president can start getting the committees together and everything. So, but I am looking forward to a great conference, and I know the superintendent will be there and a couple of colleagues will be there. But it's been a great year, and I do thank everybody again from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Mr. Destin.
Only a few things. Just wanted to thank the staff members, my fellow colleague board members who were able to attend the special commencement ceremony for Fort Walton Beach that we put together, and especially Ms. Smith and her staff for putting it together. The special commencement ceremony for the 3 seniors that were competing in the national title game and winning for Fort Walton Beach women's softball. It was a very special ceremony. I know it meant an awful lot to those families. They were very, very appreciative. And thank you for taking time out. And it was a little hot, a little buggy, but it was really, really special.
It was really cool.
It was very
I loved when they
awesome.
did the tunnel with the salute with the bats.
Yep.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was really, really great. I just wanted to thank everybody. And then I just wanted to piggyback a little bit off of it's a good time to be the District 2 representative and be affiliated with Destin Middle School, Destin High School. We got some great kids doing a lot of really great things. Will Kiker continues to shine, and while we're losing him, I have positive things to remark that I do believe that Noah Finkler, who just won the Florida Civics Bee and who will be competing, I believe, in November at the national level, he's going to D.C. to compete at the National Civics Bee. He will be enrolling at Fort Walton Beach, so we will be keeping him in the fold, and we're keeping the ball rolling at Fort Walton. So I know we're very excited to get him. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Destin. All right, colleagues, that takes us down to item 15. That'll be, item 14 will be public comment. Item 15, we do have some public hearings tonight. We have 3. All right, so 15.1 is a public hearing for the adoption of a new job description for Coordinator Threat Management presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. 15.2, public hearing for the adoption of a new job description for Technician Safety and Security Systems presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent. And then 15.3, public hearing for the adoption of a new job description for Director, Office of Safe Schools presented by Dr. Hale and recommended by the Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Yes,
question
sir.
on that.
Sure.
All those positions are filled. You're just redoing the org chart for it? Is that correct?
So the first 2 are exactly that. Then the last one, the director, is anticipation of the upcoming budget. It's a new position, but it will supplant an old position.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Anything further, colleagues?
And just real quick on that particular job, that is a state required job that we've implemented here. So correct.
And you have somebody for that already?
We do.
We do. Okay.
Of course, they'll still have to go through the process.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, anytime I think we change a job description with any any criteria or significance, we have to go through an advertisement, particularly if that position is already filled. Is that correct? Yes, sir. All right. Okay, so that's all I've got on the agenda. We good, Mr. McInnes? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Right. All right.
A little bit.
It's hard to let go of all that
Yeah.
for so long.